We're excited to present another Lion Legend segment. Today, we're talking with a former UNA quarterback, a Harlan Hill winner. Former UNA standout Will Hall joins us. And Coach Hall, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. And let's open up, give UNA fans an update on where your coaching career has taken you to this point.
Oh, man, all over the place. You know, UNA fans were able to keep up with me pretty good for a long time because I was in the Gulf South Conference. I bounced around after my playing career to several D2 stops, Presbyterian College for a year, then Henderson State for a semester, and Southwest Baptist for 2 years up there in the same league as Northwest Missouri. Then I went to Arkansas Monticello for a year. And then I got my big break in coaching. Bobby Wallace hired me at West Alabama as the offensive coordinator. And obviously, man, just think the world of Coach Wallace. Learned a ton from him for 3 years being the OC and helping him build that program at West Al. And then he retired, and they named me head coach at age 30. And we were able to take that program, to levels it had not been to. We won our first outright conference title in school history. Had some great teams there, hosted our first ever playoff game. And after 3 years there, decided to go to West Georgia and had some great runs there. Had 2 teams that went to the semifinals. Won a conference title, shared another, won 24 games in 2 years, and just had a really good run, met a lot of great people, and but always had aspirations of hopefully maybe coaching Division I football. And Mark Hudspeth, who obviously coached me at North Alabama, hired me as his OC at Louisiana Lafayette. That was his last year there. We came in and improved them offensively, but didn't do enough to keep our jobs. And from there, I bounced to Memphis for a year, and then got what I consider my second big break in coaching is Willie Fritz hired me here at Tulane. And so I've kind of worked for 2 legends in Bobby Wallace and Willie Fritz. Learned a ton from Coach Fritz in a year. We just won our 2nd consecutive bowl game here at Tulane for the first time in school history, and have really got a chance to do something special here.
That's great. Let's talk about some of your playing accolades and some things you accomplished. And first off, I want to start with how you ended up at North Alabama. You went the JUCO route, spent a little bit of time at Murray State, but what was your recruitment process like to UNA?
Okay, so, as everybody knows, I was a short quarterback, and the road for a short quarterback's gotten a little easier over the years, but back in the early 2000s, it was not easy at all. Played for my dad in high school. We had a good run, won a state title, all those things, but my own junior college didn't even want me in my area, so I had to go out of district to Northwest Mississippi. Played for a legend there in Bobby Franklin, and, UNA fans will recognize this name. Scott Maxfield, who's the head coach at Henderson State, was my offensive coordinator. Played 2 years there, and Coach Hudd actually recruited me to Delta State out of JUCO. So I had a great relationship with Coach Hudd through that. And also Coach Hudd was a Mississippi high school coach, so my dad knew him. Had a really good relationship with Coach Hudd, but chose to go to Murray State, Division I, got up there, played in a few games early in the year, and ended up redshirting. And then Coach Hudd got the head job at UNA and contacted me and, already had a great relationship. So we transferred in right there. I remember me and David Mooneyham driving over during Christmas break. David was playing at Mississippi State at the time, and we drove over and visited with Coach Hudd. And, the Florence Shoals area, just fell in love with it from the get-go. As you know, I've lived in 9 states and all over the country with my career, but Florence is one of the most special places to my heart. It's a place me and my wife talk about retiring to one day. And we came in with Coach Hudd, and a lot of people don't remember, but UNA was actually down at that time. They had fallen on hard times, and our first year we won 5, and then the next year we had that magical season. And I'm very prideful and about that crew we came in with and what we did. We felt like, obviously we don't get the accolades that the teams that won the national titles do, and we shouldn't because we didn't win it. But that group got UNA back going, and UNA's not stopped since then. So it's a special place, special group to me.
Let's talk about that first season at North Alabama. You arrived in 2002. Coach Hudspeth's first year as head coach, and what do you remember specifically? What stands out from your first year in Florence?
Okay. Uh, we had talent. We knew that. We were shifting schemes dramatically from their old option scheme they had run to a spread no huddle scheme. We were on the forefront of the no huddle revolution there at that time. And we won some games. We had a good offense that year. We were not very good on defense. And, it was high-scoring games. We won 5. We should have won more. I turned the ball over a lot that year. Didn't play as well as I could have. And split time early in the year. Coach Hud ended up naming me the full-time starter halfway through the year. And we went into the off-season and had a change at defensive coordinator. Matt Wallerstadt came in. We also brought in Terry Tillman as O-line coach. And those two guys really had tremendous impacts on our program. And then going into the next year, we were just way better on defense. And, we had everybody back on offense. It was a close-knit crew, and it just kind of took off.
So 2003, you guys make it to the semifinals, a perfect regular season. You beat Jacksonville State as well. You had a lot of offensive weapons around you as quarterback. What are some of your memories of playing with those guys?
Yeah, so, we went into that season, again, not knowing how good we were. We had won 5 the year before. So we played Stillman game 1, and we smoked them pretty good. So we still don't really know how good we are. We go to Jacksonville State, and I'll never forget at halftime of that Jacksonville State game, sitting next to David Mooneyham and turning and looking at him and going, shoot, man, we're better than these guys, And at that point, it kind of hit us. We ended up winning that game, I think, 2 touchdowns. And I believe they were a 9-2 team that went to the D1 FCS playoffs that year. And after that game, we didn't think we'd lose a game from then on out. We thought we were good. We believed. It was a special group from the standpoint of, we had Evan Oglesby that played in the NFL, but we didn't have a lot of NFL guys. We had some great D2 players. That was a team and a camaraderie. We had tremendous leadership. It was a close-knit group. At receiver, we had Marcus Lewis and David Mooneyham and Chip Long and Taurus Burt, really good football players that always made the first guy miss. Up front, our tackles were Sherwin Lyons and Matt Horton, who were both 6'1" guys, tough guys, guys you'd want to go down a back alley with. At guard, we had Cameron Sanders and Justin Faust. They were about 6'1" guys, but just tough, good D2 guys you could count on. And at center, we had a great player. His name was Lance Ankar. He was a guy that was an SEC football player that was 5'11", and just a tremendous football player at center. And in the backfield, we had Blunt and Randy Vickers, and they were talented as well. We had good players at every position. We didn't have a position where you said, man, that guy's going to play in the NFL. But we also didn't have a position where you said, man, we're weak there. Everybody was a good football player. And you could count on every one of them. It was a special group. I don't ever remember having a snap where I didn't think somebody was going to give me everything they had. And we were there all summer. That was back before you had strength coaches at that level. So, we had our workout, but I can remember we would just play. We would go lift together in the summer, and then we'd go play football. We'd play 2-hand touch football all summer long, all day long, and just play. And that probably gets overlooked a lot nowadays. That probably built a lot of trust between me and all those guys that we had.
So let's talk about your senior season specifically, what you accomplished. 3,531 passing yards, 30 touchdowns. You were named as the Harlan Hill Award winner, the second in UNA history, and now the last player from UNA to win the award. But what do you remember about that feeling when your name was called as the winner?
I just remember, number one, just my mom and my dad, because my dad is a Mississippi high school legend. He's the second winningest coach in Mississippi history. And I grew up a gym rat, and I grew up always wanting to play quarterback, and I grew up everybody telling me I was too short to play quarterback. And just the environment I grew up in allowed me to beat people with my brain a little bit, and just really thankful for the road I had to play for my dad, then to play for Maxfield at Northwest, and then to play at UNA with Coach Hood and Coach Edenfield. So I was allowed to – we ran a system that allowed me to be and use my skill set. I'm just very thankful for all my coaches for doing that, because if we'd have been in a different system, I wouldn't have been as successful. And we had a magical run, man. My teammates, when a quarterback wins an award, the team's always good. And we had a great team. And it pains me that we didn't win that game at North Dakota. I think if we played them 10 times, we'd have beat them 9. We had a bad start that day. We didn't have David Mooneyham that day due to a technicality. And, Dave's a phenomenal human being with great character, and that was a bad deal. We didn't have him that day, and I think it cost, if we'd have had him, I think it changes the game. And but we didn't play good early, and then we rallied back. And I'll never get over losing that game, because we should have won that game. We should have won it all, and we should have been playing at home. Let's call it what it is. That game should have been in Florence, and we probably let that carry over a little bit to us on the slow start, which was bad leadership on my part and some of our guys. But the fact that we didn't get that game at home still bothers me, and the fact that we didn't win it still bothers me.
So an outstanding 2-year career at UNA, as you said, kind of helped UNA get back on track. Now I want to go into the film room. Are there any particular plays or games other than the one you just referenced that just sort of stick with you today?
Valdosta, the monkey incident that everybody talks about was big. We everybody always wants to talk about that. We just converted to ice the game, and I can remember the monkey hitting me over my back, and that was a wild deal, so that stands out. I can remember hitting Martin Huggins on a hole shot, on a fade out to kind of open that game up and give us the lead. Beating them at Valdosta was huge. I can remember the bus ride back and all the UNA fans being out there waiting on us at Flowers Hall with the monkeys and all that. And that was at that point we were back. Beating Jacksonville was big, but going to Valdosta and beating them in an undefeated, I think we were both 7-0. That solidified it. We were finna win the conference, and we were back. One play that stands out in my mind, we're at Southern Arc that year, and Southern Arc was good. And they were up 14-0 on us, and they had a 4th and short. And they chose to go for it on the plus end of their territory. And Harold Wisdom hit their fullback and absolutely destroyed him and knocked the ball out, and we recovered. And it flipped the whole game. We ended up scoring 3 straight and unanswered and beat them 21-14. And that was one of those games where we didn't play well, but we were able to find a way to win. That play stands out to me. And then we played Southern Arc again in the playoffs and smoked them. Those are some things that stand out. Getting to play with Dave was special to me because we grew up best friends in high school. And he transferred in with me, and he tore his knee up our first year there, and then came back his senior year and was just a phenomenal player, and made lifelong friendships. Me and Chip Long lived together. We became like brothers, still are to this day. And obviously he's a phenomenal coach and having a great career. So just a special time.
So we'll wrap this up. You've had a great coaching career, an outstanding career at UNA as well. But University of North Alabama, looking back, reflecting, what do those 2 years mean to you?
Oh, so much, man. I was so blessed to go to school there. Like I said, to go with Coach Hood and Coach Edenfield at the time and play in that system that was on the forefront. We were in the gun. It allowed me to be a distributor, a point guard, which is what I was, and just the relationships I made. And it projected my coaching career, and it was just huge. Parts of my coaching career were unfortunate. I was so blessed to be the head coach at West Al in West Georgia, but the flip side of that is I think it kind of hurt my relationship with the UNA family some because, when you're the head coach at West Alabama, that was a huge rivalry, at least at West Alabama, and we kind of always felt like there that we were kind of the little brother and had to bow up and attack UNA. And that was, as the head coach, that was my job to do that. So I think I kind of hurt some UNA guys' feelings and all that during that. I certainly apologize for that, but I was just doing my job. I love UNA, love my time there. And, like I said, it's a place that me and my wife have always thought about retiring to. It don't get any better than downtown Florence, eating at Riccatoni's and going out on the river and all that.
Will Hall, thanks for taking the time to reminisce. I know UNA fans loved watching you play, and I know we're rooting for you as you continue your coaching career.
Thanks so much, man. Roar Lions, it was great to be on. And there's not a Saturday. I pull up UNA score every week on Saturday, and I pull up who they're playing during the week to see who they're playing. And I'm a UNA fan, and I always have been. I love Coach Willis and several of them guys there. And as the transition to FCS keeps going, man, I look forward to seeing the growth of the program.